So this is our file, our folder, lesson 1, and then we come to our VS Code. It's empty. So if you run this, if you go live, so sometimes, so when, because I've gone live once, that's why this is showing port 5500. So you can still click on this port 5500 and then go live will appear again, and then you hit go live again, and then automatically brings you to the web page. Nothing is showing, but if you check the URL, you can see this code and you can see slash index.html. That's the folder we created. This was the first one I did when I hit go live. This is the second one I just did now. So since nothing is there, we can close it, close this also, and then go back to our VS Code. So now we can, the first thing to do, let's go back to our notepad so that we can work with direction. So set up the dev environment, install extensions or plugins. We've done that already. So now we're going to be looking at HTML tags and elements. HTML tags and elements. So if I go back to this now, so first thing first, we need to describe our web page so that the web can understand what, what our web page is about, and also understand the kind of web it is, and also the language, the code that the is just like I said writing code is like giving instructions to a computer to understand the kind of file, the kind of folder that it's reading or operating, so that it can transmit that information appropriately to users. So we need to let the web know, also the computer know, that this is an HTML, this is an HTML folder. So whatever we write has to be within the HTML. If it was Python, we will type Python and then we will write in Python. If it was Java, it's the same thing. And so whatever language we are writing here, we need to declare and say that this is this language, this is HTML and not Python. This is HTML and not Java. So we need to have it. So the declaration we usually have is this doc type. Now this is the advantage of writing in VS Code. VS Code assists. It auto assists you as you write. That's why I said now writing code is a lot easier and it's fun, right? So to me, I will always say it is very easy to write code now these days, if you are ready, to practice, and you are ready to put in the work and focus. So now I just typed, let me clear this again. I just typed the open brackets, and then it already assumes that this is the beginning of HTML. I'm about to start writing HTML code, and automatically nothing has been written in this file, in this folder before. So therefore, the first thing that should come up is the doc type. That's what VS Code has suggested, which is this. So if I hit it, if I click on it, it will type it for me automatically. Now you can see the doc type is colorful, is neon green, while the HTML is blue. You can see the beauty in the color, and this is coming up. This is in this format because we installed Prettier Code Formatter, if you remember. Are you following? Are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now, if I hit enter, I move to the next line. So now next thing now is HTML. That now there are some tags that you just have to, like, accept and learn and master. There are not many, but you just have to master them. Like, okay, they have to be there before you start running, into codes and all of that. So HTML has to be there. So if I hit HTML, it has already suggested HTML. So I just enter. You can see it has opened two tags: HTML opening tag and closing tag. Now the way it works in HTML, you always have your text, your actual text, in between opening and closing tags. If you notice, this is open bracket, this is close brackets, HTML is in between, and then you have another open bracket, you have forward slash, and then you have HTML, and then you have a closing bracket. And then in between, you can see this blue highlighter that is ticking, which shows that I can type in between these tags. So these are tags. There's opening tag and there's closing tag. The opening tag usually comes in this format. Let me hit enter so that the closing tag can come down, so that you can see the two clearly. If I hit enter now, this has come down. So this is the opening tag. Let me highlight it. This is the opening tag. It is normal, open bracket, close bracket, and then you have it inside HTML. This is the closing tag. Let me highlight it. Open bracket, then forward slash HTML, then closing bracket. So which means this is the closing tag. Opening tag, closing tag. Then in between we have our text. So HTML, we have HTML. So in between HTML, we have other tags. If I hit enter again, it comes down. That means I'm typing in between HTML tags, the opening and the closing tag. So now, in between, we usually have the head tag. We have the head tag. Bring it down. We have that in between. Then in between the head tag, we have the title tag. Now I'll explain each of these guys to you. So we have the title tag. So the title tag is there. So as not to confuse you, let's leave that there. Then in between the head tag again. Now the head tag is not visible in the web browser. It's not visible in the web browser, but the head tag contains important information such as description of the website, the author of the website, character sets of the website, a lot of things, a lot of information. In fact, you can even keep your CSS file inside the head tag, a link to your CSS file inside the head tag, but it's not going to be visible to users. It's not going to be visible on the browser. What is visible in the browser is what you have in the main body of the code. We'll get there. So now we are still looking at the beginning. This is the doc. The doc type is the declaration that this is HTML file, which is the usual declaration anywhere. Right? Now you now come down further. You now say, okay, HTML is like definition. Okay, everything between this opening and closing is HTML. So the computer needs to understand that you have started something which is HTML, and then you are now closing it. If you have that's self-closing tags, actually tags that don't have closing tags. Opening, they just have opening tag, and that's it. They call them self-closing tag. But there are tags that they must have closing tag. If you don't close it, it will not work. The computer will not understand your language. You have to close the tag. It's just like you open an envelope, you put letter inside, and then you don't cover it, you don't sellotape it, it is still open. It still doesn't make sense yet. It's not enclosed. It means that if you still want to add something to it, that's the way the computer reads it. But if you close it, that means yes, it's a complete statement or instruction that you have given to the computer. So that's why we have opening and closing tags. So in between opening and closing tag, HTML tags, you have a lot of things. Number one, which is the head. It is at the top. That's, as the name suggests, it is the head. Now, in between the head, you now have other tags, like the title tag. This title tag basically is like description, brief description of the web page. If I come here to the browser, for example, let's use a real life example. If I come, let's use a website, or let's use google.com, or let's use a popular website. Let's say maybe Jumia. Yes, let's use jumia.com. This is jumia.com. This is a web page. This is a website. If I come here, if I bring my cursor to this place, you can see there's a tooltip. There's an information that pops up that says Jumia Nigeria, online shopping for electronics, fashion, home, beauty, blah 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 blah. that's just it. It's just for me to know that, oh, this is a website and this is Jumia website, this is what this is about. It's just brief description, summary of what the website is about. And this thing that you just saw now, this paragraph, is usually in the title. So let's just have a brief example. Let's practice it. So if I go back to my Visual Studio Code, this is our Visual Studio Code, right? This is our HTML file folder. If we hit go live, okay, because we hit go live before, that's why port is showing. So hit it again, it's disposing. Now go live has appeared. So let's go live, hit go live. It will take us to the browser. Now nothing is showing. Remember, we've not written anything inside apart from the head, and I said everything you write in the head does not show in the browser, but the browser is live and is ready for work. So you can see the URL. But now if I come here, if I bring my cursor to this place, what do you see? Index.html, and then the URL, the numbers that are there, because this is a local server. We've not yet uploaded it. We've not purchased domain for it. It's not yet. There are still platforms that host our website. That's when you can now, you can have your domain attached to the file. It can go live on the internet for real, but this one is still within your laptop. It has not yet gone, like, globally online. It's still within your laptop, but it is using the internet. It is still live, right? That's why you still have this code. So if I hover over this now, it's just showing HTML. So if you want to change this information that pops up to something much more unique to our purpose of the website, let's go back to our VS Code. Let's say we want to have, this is the title tag, we have opening tag and closing tag, and then in between is where we usually have whatever text or information. So I hit in between, can you see? Then I can type maybe what can we use as an example? Let's say lesson 1 for, or let me just say lesson 1, and then I put semicolon and say, okay, this is for practice. Okay, then I hit save just to save it. Save. Command S if you are using Apple, Control S if you are using HP or other Windows laptops. So now I can, now in order to avoid multiple tabs, if I hit this port again, I hit go live, I'll have like 2 tabs already open because I already hit go live once. So to avoid that, you can have side by side view. So now this is the old one we did initially, so we can close it, but it will still run live, it will still update it. Now if I hover, you can see the text has changed. Now our brief description is showing in this tooltip. Lesson 1 semicolon, this is for practice. You can see it's just as we have for Jumia. So that is what title does. This is title. You can see Jumia Nigeria lesson 1, this is for practice. Jumia Nigeria online shopping for electronics. That is it. So if you go back to your, you can minimize this, you can reduce it, reduce the size, push it to the right, open VS Code, minimize it, then bring it here. So we can have it side by side like this, right? And then we just keep refreshing our browser from here, so we can see directly what we are doing. So title, that's the job is done. Opening and closing. Now there's another website that we need to learn about before we go deeper, which is a validator. If I open my browser, let me expand this so we can have a clearer view. Let me first of all go to google.com. I always go to google.com because my laptop has a global search. So if I search for a particular topic, it doesn't go to Google directly. So I always have to go to google.com. So I can now search for whatever I want. Let's say so validator, or I can come here because I already opened it before in my browser. So I can say validator validator. Okay, it has popped up. Validator dot w3.org w3.org, validator.w3.org. Enter, then to take me to the page. So now this is the page, right? So this web page is used to check your code, if your code has errors, or if your code is, let me use the word, clean. If you want to know if your code, if you've been writing code from, maybe you've written like 100 lines of code or 20 lines of code, right? And we use the word lines for code because it is in lines. That's another way to, help you reduce the mental stress. When you see your codes as lines, then you can now, okay, go line by line instead of just looking at it from an overwhelming perspective. So if you have like 100 lines of code and you are not sure if you've made errors, it's possible to make error. Maybe you forgot to add a forward slash, or you forgot to, to delete a particular tag. It can happen. You just keep getting errors. So you just have to trace line by line to be sure that your code is correct, right? So that's what this website is used for. So for example, as I've opened this website now, I need to select, okay, this is validate by URL. No, we want to validate by file upload. So that is the easiest and the fastest way. If I hit this, for example, validate by file upload, we want to validate our HTML file, right? So now choose file, hit choose file. Because you have created HTML folder already, you will see, let's go to desktop. Don't forget, I created my folder in desktop so that I can easily see it. This is lesson 1. This is it. If I hit this, it will open up the folder and I'll have access to the HTML file. This is the index.html file that we created in the VS Code. So if I hit it, I open it, and then I've successfully uploaded it here, and then I can now hit this button, check, to check if I have errors. Can you see? It says there's an error. Let's see where the error is. Warning, consider adding a lang attribute to the HTML start tag to declare the language of this document. Yes, we just that we've not gotten to that extent. That's why I've not added it. But this validator is already telling us that our code is not complete. Then 2, the character encoding was not declared. Proceeding, okay, using Windows 1252. Now this is talking about the character set. We also haven't written that because we are taking it step by step. So already this website is telling us that our code is not complete. So we'll go back. Where's our VS Code? Come back to our VS Code. Let's even enlarge it. Okay, so now according to what it was saying, so in our HTML, so now we've understood the title tags. Now there are attributes as well. So in between attributes, in between tags, we also have attributes, but not to rush us or get things complicated. Let's have a structure first, to an extent, at least the head structure, and then we'll now look at attributes. So now look at this guy. Now this is title. We've achieved that, we've gotten that, and this title tag is in between, is inside head tag, right? And I said everything that is in head tag is not visible in the web page. So now let's hit the end of title tag and then hit enter. So if you hit enter, it takes us to the next line. Enter. It takes us to the next line so that we can write more code to fall in between the head tag as we have here. So now another tag that we need to have here is called the meta tag. So meta tag, usually we can have multiple meta tags within the head tag. Just type meta, META, and then VS Code will suggest to you, this is the first one, this is the one we want. Hit enter it, and then you have it. It has appeared here, meta tag. Now remember I mentioned there are self-closing tags that don't have closing tags. For example, remember when we first, let's hit enter and write something underneath, like let's say for example HTML, so that we can clear it away, just to show you, like example of what I explained earlier. Let's say we want to write HTML and then enter. You can see HTML appeared as opening and closing tag. Let's clear it. Unlike meta, when we type meta and enter, it just brought opening tag, no closing tag. Some tags are like that. So we are going to have three meta tags, for example. One will be for the character sets. Another one will be for the um, the author description. Another one will be for description of the website itself. Now, these meta tags are very, 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 very important in the sense that web browsers use them a lot. Web browsers use them to understand the content of our websites or of our web pages, right? Now, let's have another meta tag. If I hit enter, type meta, first option, hit enter again, meta, first option, and we have it like that, right? Those three meta tags. So they are not complete yet, so but let's have three meta tags. Now, before we continue, let's talk about attributes. Attributes, so we have the tags like as it is, we have the tags like this. Now, we can now have attributes inside the tags. Attributes are just like, it's just like, let's say you as a human being now, you dress up nice and all of that, you are going to a party. Now you have accessories. Let's say, um let me use let me use Basit for example. Let's say Basit is all dressed up and is going out. We know Basit, you know Basit. Oh, I know Basit. Basit is one guy that is, you know, he's tall, he looks in a particular way, this is who he is, blah blah blah. But now let's now talk about Basit's, maybe his assets, for example. Let's say I want to describe Basit to somebody that does not know him, and then I'm trying to describe him, and I say, don't you know that guy? You don't know Basit. His name is Basit. That is like the tag, right? Now, inside that tag, I'm not saying Basit, that guy that has a car, that has a red car, or the guy that drives a red car, that guy that drives a red car. So that red car, I'm attributing it to Basit as a human being. Basit that drives a red car, so that the person I'm describing Basit to can further, you know, get it and picture and try to remember if he has seen. Do you understand? It's just like saying, giving extra information so that the person that I'm describing to can fully understand and get it immediately. Don't you know Basit, that guy that drives red car? Do you know Happiness, that girl that wears sunshades every time? Do you know that guy? Do you understand? Do you know Titi Lyle? Do you know Larry Waju? Do you know these people? They have, do you know that group of people? They usually carry big bag like this. Those are attributes to describe, to further describe the tags. That's why they are usually inside the tags. So, for example, this head tag, for example, and those attributes are usually in the opening tag. No business with the closing tag. Closing tag is to say end of discussion. So you don't have business with closing tag. So whenever you want to have attributes, they are usually embedded or inserted into the opening tag, right? So if I hit, so I can just edit this head tag now. You can see, and press space bar to shift so I can type into it. So I can now say language. Instead of typing language full, I'll just type lang, enter. Automatically you see equals to, and you see the apostrophe like quote, so that I can type inside. Now, what language is this web page written on? Is it Latin? Is it Spanish? Is it German, Dutch? Is it French? Is it English? Obviously, this is English. Sorry. Hello? Okay, I didn't know it has stopped. Let me create a new link. Are you serious? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. Okay, I'll create it now. I kept teaching. Okay, okay, okay. I'll create it now. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Let me accept invitation. Okay. Can you hear me?
Sir, I can hear you, sir.
I didn't know the meeting ended though.
So you've been talking since.
Yes, I've been talking since. But although
Nobody answer you, sir.
I've been recording it actually.
Okay, sir. No, nobody answer you, sir.
What did you say?
Did anybody answer you?
No, I was not asking questions. I was just explaining
Okay, sir. I've posted this in the link on the.
on the group. Okay. Let me share the screen again. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Okay, yes, sir.
You can see my screen.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you to do very well.
Others have not joined.
I cannot see.
So where did you stop?
You said the validator. After the validator.
Okay, after the validator.
After the validator, just explain the validator.
Okay, okay. Are they still online?
No, no, let me call. Let me call.
Okay, someone else has joined. Adeniran Olumide has joined.
Okay, let me have
Yes, Olumide has joined.
Join now. I'll send the link now. I'll send it to the group now. See you online now.
I just kept explaining. I did not even I did not even notice. Okay, so do you have any observation or questions before we proceed?
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to open it, the VS code. Like I'm trying to open a folder.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what I did. I think I'm trying to recall how I. I don't think this is how it's supposed to be like.
Do you want
I
wait?
don't know.
Did you have you opened the folder? A new folder?
I've not seen different things. Like I tried to open the folder. I think I now probably I open like two folders. So it's looking complicated in my hand.
Okay, can you see my VS code?
Yes.
Okay, if I minimize this VS Code now, who else has this issue? I believe we Olumide, you've opened your VS Code to this extent, right?
Yes,
And you've set it up to this extent.
yes, yes.
Okay, I guess Olumide is conversant already because he writes Python. So now this is it. If you open it, that's why I usually use my desktop, because my desktop is kind of free of files, so I can see every any file, any folder I'm creating. So if I right click and hit new folder, I'll create a new folder like this. Happiness, are you following?
Yes, I am. I'm trying to open it back.
Okay. Basit, what about you? Basit,
I can hear you, sir.
have you set up your VS Code to this point?
I didn't even open it before.
You did what?
I didn't open it before.
You didn't open it before?
I'm just writing everything down. I
Okay.
just later.
It's very important for us to code along and follow along, so that it can be live and we can ask questions. I know this is the first meeting, but hopefully by next meeting we'll all be up to speed and we'll all be on the same page, and then we can ask questions, you know like that. It's very important. It's very, very important. It's very important. We cannot learn by by watching. You understand? It's very important when we move together. You open your VS Code, I open mine, you check yours, you type the code, you run it, it works, we ask questions. It's very, very important. You understand? Mm-hmm. So, happiness, have you gotten it? So what I will do is this. What is what
No,
I
I'm
would
trying to start again to see. Yeah.
You are trying to what?
I'm trying to reopen it again. You can go on.
Okay. So this is what I will do, because this is recording, right? So I will just continue, and then so when you watch the video, you can set up your VS Code against next class, so that we can everybody can be on the same page, and then we touch more topics from there. So I was talking about attributes. I was talking about attributes. So if you watch the video, you will hear more about attributes. So attributes are like extra descriptions that we give to the tags. Is like adding extra description so that the web can understand, they can have more details. It's just like I said, giving instructions to the computer. This is HTML. This is sorry, this is not even supposed to be here. Let me close this. Let me close this head tag. Because I hit closing bracket, it automatically brought closing tag. I don't need any closing tag again because we already have a closing tag here. If not, there will be confusion. So let us delete this closing tag, since we already have a closing tag. Opening and closing tag, they work together, and then you have other tags in between, right? So now this HTML, we've declared that it is HTML, but we need to now say, okay, what language is this HTML written in? Is it Spanish? Is it Yoruba? Is it Dutch? What language? Obviously, it is English. So we'll type it in EN, then you put hyphen. Now, not everybody does this, but it's good for you to be specific. We have US English, we have Great Britain English. You can write it there. EN stands for English. You can have EN hyphen capital letter US to show that it is US English, or GB, which is Great Britain, I guess, British English. So you can have it like that, or you can have US, which is like the most common one, or you can just leave it as EN, which stands for English. But I like to use EN hyphen US to show that it is US English. Then you Control S or Command S to save it. So now we've declared that this is HTML. Now remember, if I go back to the browser, remember when we check the validator, this is our validator. The validator pointed out that our HTML, where is it, consider adding a language attribute to the HTML start tag. You can see it didn't say end tag, the start tag, which is the opening tag, to declare the language of this document, to declare that the language used in this document is English, right? So if you go back now, let's upload our file again. We've made changes. We've added, where is it? This is our VS Code. We've added language to our HTML start tag, which is the opening tag now, EN-US, which is English, and we've saved it, Command S or Control S. So if we can either go live from here, hit pause, then go live, or come back to the browser that's already open, which is this one, and refresh. Automatically it refreshes by itself. That's the essence of using live server. This site can't be reached. We have to close this, that's expired. So I'll just come here and then choose file again, check by file upload, choose file again, hit HTML, index.html, because I already opened it before, so it brings it up immediately. You can go to desktop, open the lesson 1 folder, and then you have access to your HTML. Only HTML is shown here because only HTML is the only HTML, index.html is the only file we have created inside this folder, lesson 1. That's why this is the only file we are seeing here. So open so that you can upload it. Now it is uploaded here. If I check, where is the button to check? Okay, it is here. Check. Now if I check, you see that this error will disappear. Check. Okay, the error is still there. What is it saying? Consider adding lang attribute to start tag to declare the language of this document for HTML EN US. That's exactly what we typed. So why is it still showing attributes EN not allowed on elements HTML at this point? Okay, let's check exactly what is going on. Let's go back. Oh, do you see what is happening? We did not type language. We did not type language. Lang. So we'll clear this out. Lang. Okay, we can see enter. Lang equals. Then we'll now type en hyphen caps lock US. You can see how little errors can bring, little mistake can bring, or ignorance can bring serious errors to your code. So if I save this now, I go back to this validator. Just because we didn't specify that this is the language, though we typed en-us, right? But we did not specify that language equals en-us because I was explaining, so it skipped my mind and I forgot. That's why the error came up. So if I come back here and then choose the file again, because you can't check this particular file because you've already checked it once. So you have to choose another file, choose the file again, because now this file has been updated based on the code we have written just now. Open and then check again. Check. Now it has gone, but we still have other errors. The character encoding, which is the character set, which was the number 2. Element meta is missing one or more of the following attributes. Now, these are other errors. If you come back here, you see the lang attribute is no more. The lang attribute error is no more. Now it's talking about all of these guys. Now title is this. You know what will happen? Let's rush through it. So now we have meta tags, three meta tags. Remember I mentioned that we are going to have three meta tags. One meta tag is going to be for character set. The second one is going to be for description of the website. Third one is going to be for description of the author of the website. So for example, these are all opening tags. They don't have closing tags. They are self-closing tags rather. So now we can have attributes inside each of them. Come to the first one, hit spacebar. This, are we still on? Are we still online? Are we still here? Okay, okay, let's go back. So meta tag, let's have attributes inside it. I said character sets, ch.
I'm not seeing your screen again.
You're not seeing my screen again?
Yes, sir.
How about now? Can you still see my screen?
I can see your screen.
You are seeing it now.
Yes.
How come you're not seeing it? How about now? Are you still seeing it?
Yes, I'm seeing it now.
You are seeing it now. Okay. So character set. Let me close it. So now the VS Code suggests immediately what you are supposed to enter once you type the first few letters. CH character set. You can see it has brought it out. Char set, which stands for character set. If I hit enter, equals to. Now this is usually UTF-8, and then you save UTF-8. So if at all you are going to cram any line of code or any tag element or yes, your description, it will be these guys because they are usually constant k in every web page that you design. They are usually constant. You must always have them in your head tags, right? But every other thing you still have to memorize and you still have to use your logic for them. So now you have this for character set, which is set is an attribute inside the first meta tag. Now we'll move on to the second meta tag. Type inside it the attribute. Now I mentioned that this one is going to be for description of the website, or to make it chronological we can start with description of the author. You can say usually you have name, you enter name equals author. That's name of this attribute, author, and then you hit space again to create space so you can type another attribute, which is content. What's the content of this of the author of the meta tag? You said name is the author, right? Now who is the author? Who is the author? We can say author is let's say Olumide. Now nobody is going to be seeing all of this in the browser, mind you. It's just for the web, for the browser. The browser needs to get all this information so that when maybe SEO, you are running SEO, you are doing advert and all of that, or maybe Google browser wants to suggest websites to people that are searching using keywords, it can use this data or information to suggest your website. These are the ways to build your website to be SEO inclined. You understand me? These are the tags you use. These are the tricks that you use. You load your meta tags. You describe your website very very well with keywords, so that when users search for keywords on the browser, your website can be one of those people that will pop up because you already have the data written inside these meta tags in the head section. So all this information is not for users, it's for the browser. So you have author, content, Olumide. Now let's move to the third meta tag, which is for description of the website, which explains what the website is actually meant for, or the content of the website. It's like summary of what the website is all about, so that the browser can pick that information. So we now say name is still the same format. Name is what? Description. Description, which means description of the website. Did I spell it correctly? Okay. Now let's add space, and the next one is what? Content, which is the same format. Now content, we say description of the website, which means what is this website about? You can now start by typing, depending on the content of your website, what you want to type in. So this website is actually for practice, learning, etc. And you have it like that. Then you save. Command S or Control S, and then you have it like that. So you save all of it. Now this is all within the head. You cannot see it. Even if you go live now, you will not see, the web page will still be blank because it is not visible. It's for the browser, not for the user. Right? So if you check our validator again, now because we've written new code inside the index.html, which is, where is it? We've written this code. So as you write this code and save it, it automatically saves up inside the index.html, and it is also inside this folder that we created, this particular one. If I hit on it, if I open it, it is here. You understand? So we created the folder outside the VS Code in the desktop. We labeled it, and then we imported it into the VS Code, and then we now created a new file inside it, and then we named it index.html, and it automatically appeared inside the folder, and whatever code we've been writing has been saving up inside the folder inside here. So that's why we can easily upload it from here. That's why we can easily come here and upload from the folder. Choose a file, because we want to check again. You might see the code that are here. See the error, character encoding. Let me close so you can see well. Error 1, the character encoding was not declared. Error 2, element meta is missing one or more of the following attributes. You can see it there. So now let's upload the updated file, and then open, and then check again. Now we've run the check. You see, it says document checking completed, no errors or warnings to show, which means that we've updated everything, we've written everything the way we should write it, so there's no error. So you should always use this validator like every time you are writing your code, just to be sure that you are on track. So let's go back to our browser. Don't forget, so this is still showing, this is the title, lesson 1 semicolon, this is for practice. So let's go back to our VS Code. Since we are on track, the validator has said that everything is on check, everything is correct. Let's expand this again. So we have this, the title is set, the meta tags are all correct, and all are within the head tags, and then the HTML language attribute has been set to EN, US, English, and then we have it like that. Now let's move to more tags. If I hit enter again, I come down to the other line. There's another tag which is called body. Enter. You have it like that. You have the body. If you hit body is the main page of the web page of the website. Is the main page of the web page, right? Head is not visible. So whatever you are going to be having, whatever is going to be visible is going to be here, right? So you can have body, and then you can also have whatever you want to have on the website inside the body. For example, we have the body, we can come in between the body and type, let's say for example, let's have a paragraph. let's say we want to have a paragraph. This is just to show example of how it works, right? Let's say in what's it called, in Python you say print, right? So here now let's try to paste something. Let's say Ali is a boy, for example. Normally we are supposed to use h1 tag, h1 element, to show that okay, this is h1, which is the highest what's it called, highest size for our font or text, right? We have h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6. h1, which is the biggest in size. But because I don't want all of this to get too complex, let's just pick it one after the other. You can easily understand a paragraph. A paragraph is just a paragraph. You have text, block of text, or even a single line forming a new line, right? Or we can still use h1. You can say h1 and then enter, and then you can now type in between the h1 tags. You can say Ali is a boy, and that's it. And then we can come to the end, hit enter to move to the next line. We can now type a paragraph underneath. P, enter. Just P is enough, and hit enter. That stands for paragraph. You can now type something else again. He has a big football, and then that's it. Then save. Now because this is now within the body, we can now start viewing it, start seeing it in the browser. Let's go to the browser. You don't need to hit this, you don't need to hit go live anymore, because we already have this open already. You can see now we are beginning to see the contents on the web page. Ali is a boy, which is h1, which is a header. h1, which is like a main topic. That's why the size is like this, and that's why it is bold. And then we have a paragraph. He has a big football, which is a line of text. It is not as important as h1. That's why it is like this. We will still learn. I know designers will understand this better, because they already understand hierarchy in text, in fonts. They already understand how it works, the h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6, text elements and all of that, and paragraph, contrast, how all those things work. So we can have it like that. So basically this is how it appears, right? So now let's move on to, let me hide this. We'll move on to other tags. We'll move on to other tags and elements. Let's move on to other tags and elements. So we already have this. Now there are other tags that need to be inserted inside the head.
Sorry, I don't know if I can ask a question.
Okay, you can ask.
Sorry, I've been using up my headset. Okay, so I wanted to ask that I've forgotten the name. I'm trying to get the name of that. Is it like an extension that you're using to check the code if it's correct? So
Okay, that's the validator.
The validation, is it like in form of like an extension or something like that?
No, it's a website.
Or how? So how do you see that you copy the code there?
No, let me show you. Where is it? This is the validator. This is the website, validator.w3.org.
Yeah.
So once I open it up, there is a button that says choose file. So I can validate the code by uploading a file.
Okay, so like you upload the file that document is that code is.
Yes, if I hit choose file now, it will take me to my computer.
Okay, like to your file.
Yes, this is where I have my folder. So if I open this, then I will see my index.html. Then I'll open it.
Okay, I get.
Yes, then I'll now hit check. Yes.
So I understand now. So that's where it's now like check it.
Yes, now check it. Yes. Okay.
That's good.
Yes. So let me go back to, okay, so this is our, let's go back to this. So this is still the head tag. In between the head tag, we also, now we talked about HTML to an extent. Now we also have CSS. There's no way you do HTML that you will not do CSS, because HTML, quite alright, it's a markup language. It defines the structure of the web page. But the CSS, on the other hand, let me say, beautifies the structure we have created. It adds flesh to it. If you create a button, for example, you can make it look beautiful. You can add color to it, add the shape, add the size, and all of that. It's a different language on its own. It's a different tool on its own. Let me use that word. So we will look at CSS, but not yet in full, because we need to first understand the structure of a web page and how to define it properly, right? And then we'll still do a bit of CSS from the beginning right now, because it is important in some areas. Now we have different ways. We have different, should I say different, yes, different ways of including CSS in our HTML. We have inline styling. CSS is cascade sheet styling, styling sheets rather, which means you style your web page. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
So we have inline CSS. We have inline CSS. We have external CSS. For example, now we can have CSS somewhere here as a separate folder. Let's say if I create another file, rather, not folder, another file. If I create a new file now, I can call it. I can call it. I can call it hp.css. This is a new file. If you notice the way I'm naming my file, I'm adding dots the language. Do you get my point? This is index.html, not index.css. So this is my HTML file. This is my CSS file. Do you get my point? So whatever I do, whatever I write here as per CSS, it can affect my HTML. It's like I can have HTML, CSS, JavaScript here, and then all of them. If you go to our folder now, where's our folder? If I minimize this and go to our folder, this one, you see that this new file I've created, this hp.css, will already appear here. Can you see it? hp.css. So I can merge everything and make them work together for this our web page. Do you understand? Now let's have a little CSS effect here. For example, let's go back to this guy. Where's our paragraph? This is our paragraph. Now we can have inline styling, for example, which is usually inside the element, inside the tag, inside the element. For example, inside this P now. Remember, CSS also works in form of attributes. For example, this is P, right? You can see the text. You can see the normal original format of this text, this paragraph, which is, it has a big football. You can see it's plain. Now let's say we want to make it, we want to increase the size, or what can we do to it? Maybe we want to change the font to something else. Let's go, but where is it? Let's come here. Let's say, okay, now we can type font, or we can just type style. For example, style equals, style is for CSS. We are already styling this text. That this is inline styling, inline CSS. So you can now say, okay, let's say what can we do to this particular? Let's say we want to change the font family to something else. This is Franklin Gothic. This is, let's say, something that is going to be obvious. Let's say Arial Helvetica sans serif. Change it to this. Already it's going to affect this. It has a big football. Let's save it. Control S or save. Let's go back to our web page. Automatically reload, or let's pick it from here. I don't know why this is breaking. Let's go live from here. Do you notice the change in the font, or it's not obvious? Let's come back here. Let's change the color of the font. That will be much more obvious. So we can have multiple effects. We can apply. So this is the first CSS we've applied to this text. We change the font, which is the font family. Now we can come to the end of this this semicolon, put space again, type another property. Let's say font color, or let's just type color. Let's make it aqua. At least this should be, or let's make it brown. This should be obvious. Save. Control S or Command S. This is styling. This is inline styling inside the element. So which is going to directly affect this particular text and nothing else. So let's go live. Go live. Can you see? It has made this particular text red. That is CSS. That is styling. So we can have it that way, or we come back here, and now the reason why I'm explaining this is because we want to add a CSS file. We want to create a CSS file and then link it to the HTML through a tag in between the head. That's why I'm explaining this. But I'm not explaining to you that we can also do it another way by just adding it directly to each of the HTML elements without even stressing to create, because now this particular file we have created is useless. There's nothing inside, but we are already having CSS affect our HTML just by adding it directly to the tag and element. Do you understand? We created a CSS file which is hp.css, but we have not started using it because there's nothing here. Do you get? So this file is not yet affecting this other file, but we are already adding CSS to this particular HTML file because we are doing it one by one. We're adding it to individual elements, HTML elements, which is this paragraph. So now let's practice something else. Let's make this particular file affect this HTML. So we can now come here and say, okay, link, because we want to link this hp.css to our HTML file. So link CSS. You have options here. Link CSS, and then it opens up. So here we have, this is a relative link which is relating to this particular file. We have absolute link. We will get to that extent. We'll get to that part. But let's just go along with this. Now we need to edit this. href here is where the particular this file is linking to. You can see it says style.css, but this is blinking, which means we can edit it. So where do we want this to link to? hp.css, so that it can understand what we want it to do. We are giving it instruction. So we'll delete this style and add hp.css. See, it has brought it up. It has suggested it. We just select it and then it is saved there. So style sheet, which is CSS. Cascade style sheet. Cascade style sheet. So link relatively to hp.css. And what type of link is this? Style sheet is CSS. And we can further describe this so that our browser can understand. You can say type. What type of link is this. Enter. You can say text / what? CSS. To say it's not ordinary text, it's CSS. Control S and Command S and leave it like that. Now, to show you the effect of this thing now, if you go live, if you go live, our paragraph is still red, right? But guess what? What is making it red is the other CSS, inline CSS that we did here directly on the paragraph. But if you remove it, you will see that it will disappear. If you remove the CSS, the inline CSS, it's back to normal paragraph. Sorry, I deleted the closing bracket. It's back to normal paragraph. There's no styling here, and this hp.css is still empty. So if we go live now, you see that our red color will have disappeared because there's no CSS. You see, it's back to black. That's to show you that this. Are you there? That's to show you that this hp.css we have created is still useless because there's nothing here. Though we have created a link for it to be linked to our HTML, but for us to see the effect, we have to type in something here. So we can now start our paragraph. P for paragraph. Open curly brackets, and then whatever we now want. We want to change the color. We can now say color. Now we don't need to type style sheet because this is CSS file, so we can just go directly and say okay, style color brown, and then save. This is inside the hp.css, and don't forget we have linked the CSS here in the HTML file in the head link. So if you now check, you will see that it will take effect. Our paragraph will have changed back to red because we have linked it to our hp.css and we have updated our CSS, hp.css. Can you see? So now it is no more powered by the CSS we applied here. It is now powered by the CSS file. Now this is the best way to apply CSS to your file because you can have all your styling here. If I want to increase the size of this what's it called, of this h1, let's say we want our h1 to be bigger than normal. The default size of h1 is usually 16 pixels. If you want it to be bigger, we can say okay, let's make it 32 pixels. You see that this h1 will be bigger. We can come here, and then instead of typing it here, we can also do it here, but since we want all our CSS to be in one file and then we want to link it to the HTML, we can come here. So any correction, any editing or styling we want to do should be within the file so that we can have a neater way of creating our file. So we can come here, come down to another line. Since we want to change the size of our h1 throughout the page, you can say h1, enter, open curly bracket, and then what do you want to change? The size. You can say font size. Already once you type a keyword, VS Code will suggest options to you, and then you select the one you intend to edit or to change. You can now say type in 34, or what do you say, call it, let's say 32 pixels. 32 pixels, and then we have it like that. Control S or Command S. You can see how VS Code is adding different colors to the text because we've installed Prettier. So now let's check our H1. We can go back to the browser and then refresh. H1 font size 32 pixel. Why is it not taking effect? Let's go live from here. Let's go live. It's not taking effect, or is it my eyes? Did you notice the change in the size? Let's add color to blue violet and then save. Okay, I think it's taking effect. So we have it like that. So back to this, back to HTML. So we have our link here to HTML, to CSS file. Now there's another link you can have. If you notice, if you go back to this browser, now we are still looking at head tag and all the possible tags or elements we can have within the head tag, so that we'll start from head and go to the bottom like that, and go back to the head like that, so that we can understand the full structure of a web page. So now let's go back to the browser. If you check, you see Jumia websites. Are you guys still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you see Jumia websites, we talked about the title where you have Jumia Nigeria online shopping for electronics, blah blah blah. We've gotten that already. Now you see the icon beside. This is favicon. I call it favicon. Some people call it favicon, but you understand. Google has it. You can see it. In Gmail has it. Inbox, you can see the Gmail logo. Google Meet has it. You can see the logo. WhatsApp has it. See WhatsApp logo. Figma has its Figma logo, ChatGPT has its ChatGPT logo, like that. But ours doesn't have. It's just showing the web, browser page. So now see the multiple pages we have opened because we've been going live. So we can just delete and keep one. So we have it like that. So we don't open too many tabs. So now we want to have our favicon. So now we can now come back here. But before we have our favicon, we need to first of all have our image ready. So I can say, okay, to get an image, let's go for icons. Most times if you are developing a website or creating a web page, you will most likely have the logo of the particular brand, just as you have for all of these guys here. So we can just say, for the purpose of the lesson now, we can put an icon. Let's go to Google icon. So we can download an icon and then we use it as our favicon. So Google icon, right? Google icons, material icon, icons. Which one should we use? Should we use this one? Data sets. Let's use data set. Let's download data sets. Are you guys still here? Okay. Okay, someone raised his hand. Basit.
Sir, you also maybe I will watch the video later.
What did you say?
The signal is so poor.
Okay, okay.
Watch the like I pick up and I watch the video.
The video, okay. Google Meet even says our call will end in 15 minutes. It's 11 o'clock already. Wow. So let's just quickly do this. The video is still recording. So we'll just use this one to wrap up. Then we'll use time. We'll practice and then we'll meet in the next class to continue. Hopefully by that time everybody will have, installed everything they need to install and we'll all be on the same page. So this is we selected this icon. This size is not bad. It's okay. We need this SVG so that we can maintain the quality of the and we can edit it as well. So this is the SVG. Don't forget this is in white. We might need to change the color, but let's access it in the folder first. This is it. So I can keep this outside in my desktop because I have Figma. I can open my Figma. If you don't have Figma or you don't know how to use Figma, you can download the random logo that you can use. But I just want to, just for the purpose of this lesson, because I've already downloaded this icon, I can easily import this, put this into my Figma, for example. I think it's there already. think it's here already. Okay, it's there already. So I can quickly just change the color so that it will be visible. Take it out of the container, then add color to it. Color that will be sharp and obvious. Let's make it this red or burnt orange. So it's okay like this. This has to be 100%, don't forget. So if I reduce it, it's very tiny. I can scale it up so that it will be obvious. Yes, this is not bad. At least this is almost 100%. So this is okay. So I can download it, export vector. So this is vector.png. So I can view it here. I can rename it so I can call it fav.png. Enter fav.png. So now I can bring it back to the desktop and close this. Right now, because we have access to our folder in our HTML is inside this folder, right? This lesson 1 folder. We can easily open it, right? And then come here or let me even do it this way. We can come here and create a new folder here and call it images, or call it img. Enter. And then we can now bring this guy inside this folder. If you open this one now, it is inside already. Then we can arrange it properly. Now, the reason why we're opening this folder inside this folder is because we are going to have more images. Obviously, you want all your images to be in one folder so that you can easily access them and link them to the web page. Because you have images on website normally, you are going to be using images. So let's go to our VS Code. If you go to our VS Code, you see it already appears here, img, and then inside img you have fav.png. That's the one we just edited and downloaded and imported. So if I come here back to the head section, to the head area, I can open another, go to another line, link again, link. Now you see favicon, select favicon. Now href. Now this is going to be, href is for link, so I can link to img, which is referring to this particular folder. Select it, then to bring all the options of the images that are in that folder, I can select the one I want to link to, which is fav.png, and then I enter it. You see, type equals image slash x icon, just as we have type here equals text slash css. Then shortcut icon, I can edit this and call it icon, as simple as that. Control S or Command S to save. So if I go back, if I go live, you see that we already have, can you see, we already have our favicon or favicon. It's quite large, but we can reduce the size so that it can look more natural. But you already see the favicon here. So that's another link that we can have in our head section, right? Our call ends in 10 minutes. So that is, so in order to clarify, to also simplify this structure, you can rearrange your the code, or take this back up, come down here, bring this down, bring it closer to it. You see this body, you can bring it down so that there's space in between so that it can be clear. See, so this is body, right, and this is head, right, and then we have our declaration, which states that this is HTML file, right, this is HTML file, right, and then this is CSS file. Whatever decoration we want to do to this HTML file, we do it here, and then it will have effects immediately when we reload. And then we have our image folder to contain all our images. We can add more images to this guy. It's just by simply minimizing this. You can, whatever we do to this file directly affect what is in the VS Code. right? So let's say we want to, so we'll still upload more images to this particular folder. We still add more images to this particular folder so that we can use them in the web structure for the website design. So we'll wrap up for now, and then we'll meet again in the next class, and then we can ask questions. So try as much as possible to install your VS Code and try to understand what we've discussed tonight, and try to practice as well. Do you have questions? This meeting is ending in 8 minutes.
For me, I don't have any question yet. Probably when I watch the video and like
Okay,
set
and when
my
you try,
questions,
okay,
I'll be able to understand very well.
okay. That's fine. Mm. So far so good. Does it seem difficult? What's your opinion? What's your observation?
Okay, for me, not like it's looking difficult. Maybe because I'm familiar with some of the tags and all of that. Because like I'm familiar with it, so it's not looking like something that I've not seen before.
Mm.
Like this is the first time again. So that's why I said when I watch the video again and like calm down to go through it all again, maybe I'll find it